Hi, I'm Sarah from the upcoming. A real pleasure to have you here with us at the 21st Marrakech Film Festival. Maybe you could kick off with a brief introduction to your film, The Village Next to Paradise. For people who haven't seen it yet, what can they expect when they watch it?
The Village Next to Paradise is a story about an unconventional family in Somalia, a father, a son, and the sister of the father. And we follow these characters through their daily life and see what's affecting their daily decisions, and while following them at the same time, we see what's happening in that country at the background, politically, socially, economically. So if I have to explain it in a short form, I would say that's what it's about. But I think it's more than that.
Maybe you can tell us a bit about how the film came to be. Obviously, I know it's your feature debut. What was the initial inspiration? Was it the setting? Or was it this particular sort of found family, this trio of characters? Were there some broader themes that you wanted to explore? What was the starting point?
I think the starting point was realizing that there are specific images in people's heads when it comes to Somalia, outside of Somalia, and so that I even questioned whether these images are really true or not that people have. So that's how I think how it started in the first place, writing the story, and it wasn't about making the film. It was more or less writing the script or the story for myself. I think just to be sure that these images are not what people think of Somalia. It's not, since I was born there, I grew up there, and I know how it is. So that was the motivation, I think, and the rest finding all these characters and everything that came after was very intuitive. Writing, and it was all about showing people from different corners in Somalia, like on a daily life. So yeah, so everything else was really intuitive, and it was at some point it was all about bringing these too many characters, because it's not only about the sister and the father and and the son. It's about also other characters in the film. So at the end, it was all about bringing them together, so that I don't really write like too many characters and too many stories within the story.
What was your casting process, and how did you decide, I guess, on these three central characters, but also the broader people we see in the film?
The casting process was very easy, in the sense that we found these actors very easily. Somalia, it's I think hard to do like a classical casting call, because people don't aspire to be actors. So what we did was that we asked people that we knew, and friends and family members and blah blah blah, that you explain to them what you're looking for, and try to find them like that. And specifically in this film, we were lucky, because all the actors in the film, we found them in a very accidental way, more or less. The father figure or actor was a friend of our lane producer, so I met him in his office accidentally, and then I thought that at the same, like in that same moment, that there was something in him that really stayed with me, like being there in these 30 minutes that I was there, or an hour. And then we said, like, let's try next day. Like, are you ready to try next day and see? And he came the next day, and he looked literally like the small camera like this into the camera, and that was the casting process, And then when it was fixed, that when he said, like, yes, I'm gonna do the film, we asked him if he knows a kid, and then he said, like, he has a friend who has two kids, and that's how we came to the child, and it was one of these two kids. And the character of the sister, she was a friend of our casting director. So yeah, everything went smooth, and it was all about like that, asking people and then finding them, or sometimes even finding there is a character in the film who's called Jama in the film, and we met him during while we were making diffusers and flags for the film in a place, and he was there. So that's how our casting process was. Yeah, and we were very lucky, because they're really, really good.
Something that's quite striking about the film, there's not lots of dialogue for the actors to work with. It's feels very naturalistic, or the performances feel very naturalistic. So what was your approach to working with them, particularly if they didn't have so much experience in front of the camera, and how did you elicit the performances you wanted?
I think it was trusting them, and giving them also the trust that they can do whatever they want, and trying to let them understand their characters, why they are behaving the way they are behaving, what their aspirations are, what their wishes are, what their fears are, and I think they really got it internally also. These characters, they understood who these characters are, and the rest was all about the obvious superficial things like moving from A to B and all that stuff. And I think the film is also is what it is because of these actors. I think, and to be honest, we didn't really have to do a lot of takes in the film. They were really good. And I as a director, I have to guide them here and there, but I let them do, and they did very well.
And you were saying at the beginning, one of the key things you wanted to do is perhaps not reproduce sort of the stereotypical views of Somalia that maybe we've seen on screen before, people's preconceptions. So in that sense, how did you want the film to look and feel? Were you taking reference from any other films or filmmakers to capture a certain kind of aesthetic? And how did you want to portray kind of everyday life in this setting?
To be honest, we didn't have any references, like in any like in the real sense, like in terms of the colors, in terms of the camera work. Even with my DOB, we did not even do a storyboard or something like that. But that was also the aim, that was also the goal of the process. Like, let's just be spontaneous and be there and do there in that moment whatever we think is right. It even happened that sometimes we will be the location in that very first moment when we are shooting there, like on that day, and we will figure it out how we will do. And it's not only for us but for everyone, whether it's the camera, lighting, actors, production design, so that was the process. And I think that was also the only way we could do this film, because we shot the film for over 3 months, and in 3 months, and I think 70% of the crew were like for the first time on a film set. We accepted the challenge, and we wanted, I think, to be honest and to be true to these moments, so I think if there is something that's coming across, and because also that was the goal even in writing the story. I think from writing the story intuitively to shooting the film like that, there was that was the approach. I think that's what made the film. It wasn't like we want to be there and we have to plan everything and we have to do it. It wasn't like that. It was like, okay, some things cannot work. Okay, then it cannot work. This location we cannot find it. Then that's fine. Okay, then we will move on and go to the next location and then see. So, and I love that process. Whatever happens there on that day, and whatever happens during that period, will dictate how we make the film. And I think there is some honesty within that process.
Can you remember a particular moment where it was too difficult to shoot in a particular location, or some other kind of hurdle, perhaps not quite having the infrastructure in place you needed? And on the flip side, did you have a favorite scene to shoot, or a favorite moment on set?
No, I can give you an example, which actually it's there is a scene in the film when the sister comes to I would call it maybe her future husband, in a way, the guy she wants to marry at some point, to help her without spoiling the film. And she comes to him and she says like, hey, let's blah blah. I want to talk to you. Can we meet at the beach? And he says, like it was written in the script. Okay, he says like, yes. Okay, then blah blah blah. Let's meet the next day or whatever at the beach. And we wanted to shoot but we and the guy's electrician, so we wanted to shoot in that real location where there are these big generators and all that stuff. We wanted to come there, and then but the actress was not feeling well, so we had to cancel that day, and say, okay, then we can shoot it. But we moved on to another village where we had to shoot the other scenes. There is a scene also in the film, the scene that they're supposed to meet then at the beach. We had to shoot it in a village. The village is on the seaside, so we shot other scenes at the beach and blah, blah, blah. And at some point, I realized, like, okay, there are many scenes at the beach. So this scene doesn't have to happen at the beach. I mean, them meeting. And I'm like, okay, maybe we can, they should meet somewhere else. So we changed that scene that they meet in an old hospital that's not working anymore. But then I could do that because I knew that I will shoot the scene that she's asking him to meet. We will shoot it later. We still didn't shoot it. So that's how we can backtrace it. And then we shot, like, I don't know, when we came back to that location, we shot that scene and we wrote it like this, that, the character says, no, I don't want to meet at the beach. Let's meet somewhere else. And that's how they met there. So that's what I mean, like, sometimes, let the things that happen also, of course, if it can be sometimes negative, but it could be also positive sometimes. So let that in also and accept it and, how do you say it, embrace it.
And in terms of the takeaways, the themes in the film, the fact that, the dreams play a key role, a key thread, and dreams and aspirations, but they might only be sort of, in the broader scheme of things, quite small scale, but the importance of that to each of these characters and the importance of having those sort of family connections, even if it's not a traditional family. And then I guess broadly, kind of Somalia's untapped potential, let's say. So what do you think the key themes are? I
mean, I have no idea about themes because I really don't know what I'm writing about. Like, I don't think about themes. It's all about, I think, the characters, and at some point you understand them and then you follow them in a way while writing. So I really don't know about the themes. But dreams were, everyone is having these dreams was I think something that also I realized while writing, but I didn't understand why. Also, I mean, I had reasons why there is a dream here and there in the film that you see, but I didn't have to think about what the meaning of these dreams are beyond these obvious reasons that I had for them, for the dramaturgical reasons. I also don't really know. Someone asked me also in a Q&A what these dreams are about, and I said, I don't know. Let's figure out. I don't know. Let me know what you think, how you interpret it. I think what these dreams are.
And finally, what has it meant to you? I know it's the first Somali film that was in Cannes, in competition, and then being here, the jury, absolutely amazing this year. Luca Guadagnino, Jacob Elordi, Andrew Garfield, Patricia Arquette, all going to be watching your film. What does that mean to you?
I mean, first of all, I think it's not the first film in Cannes, a Somali film. There's The Grave Digger's Wife, who was in Seman, 2021. From Khadar Aydrus. I think this was the first in the official selection, I think. I mean, it's in one way, it's a big responsibility of, like, I think anything that you make in Somalia, like the moment you say, like, I want to make a film in Somalia, then it's a big responsibility because, as I said, there are no films that come from there, and the only things that are made about the country are like these stereotypical things like Captain Phillips or whatever. So it's already a big responsibility making the film. And about a festival, like, I think you could see it from different perspectives. On one side, of course, it's nice and it's good. On the other side, it's sad that it took so long that films are coming to, Somali films are now at festivals. So I will take both of them. And about the festival here, I'm enjoying, and it's really nice. Marrakech is really an amazing festival, and the rest, I'm not really thinking about that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all that with me.
Thank you very much.
Really enjoy presenting your film here in Marrakech, and best of luck with the competition. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.